Good morning. How are you? Happy Sunday. It's a little overcast, but it's nice. Yesterday there were some sun showers, and I got out the hammock, and so I got a little spray from time to time in the warmth of the afternoon. So we're not being brotherly again, or sisterly for that matter. This is Pride Month, and we're supposed to be celebrating the equality of LGBTQ with everyone else and the advances against discrimination that LGBTQ deserves as citizens of the United States and as humans and as soulful creatures, if you will. But in my neighborhood, a precinct that's fairly conservative, there's a couple. It's the only wedding I ever did, and it was a gay couple. And I'm really glad I did it. It was very different. We worked on what the ceremony would be, and the family came. And, observing something like that, whether or not you're officiating as I was, gives you a feeling about the celebration of finding a person you care about and making a life with them. And one of my longest friends in New York, he and Joe have had a long relationship. And so when you see that and you see what kind of citizens good people are, it's especially egregious when people turn against them. And so my friends locally have a picket fence around their place, and it's decorated in rainbow colors. And they had a few flags up to celebrate Pride Month. Well, somebody came and tore them up and tore them down. This attack against them because they're gay, and in a town that has kind of encouraged this kind of discrimination, including in the church. So we immediately put up our pride flag and American flag outside, and I've encouraged others to do the same. Then I read today how yesterday down in Florida, Ron DeSantis territory, that at a pride parade, a man in a white pickup truck apparently gunned the engine and hit two bystanders for the parade, killing one of them ultimately. At the very best, it was involuntary manslaughter. But people on the scene say that he did it consciously, intended to do it. It wasn't an accident. Now, I've gotten some trolling from people who say, oh, he was a member of a gay choir. Well, if you're a member of a gay choir, why are you driving a truck? Why aren't you with the gay choir? So, and the stories don't back that up. And the Washington Post later edition basically said that people on the scene said he intended to do it. Now, I'm going into the detail because these are kind of high stakes in the sense that an America that claims we're all in this together is not. That the promise is a significant deviation from the action. And we have to do better than that. And the Supreme Court only last week had that Philly decision in which they said that the Christian foster parent organization that had a contract with Philly, that they could discriminate against couples who wanted to be foster parents who were gay. So that's just not acceptable. And now what do we have on the Hill? On the Hill, there's a pending Equality Act. And I don't know if you know Tammy Baldwin, but I got to know her when she came to the House, and she was on the Judiciary Committee during the impeachment, among other things. And that is the impeachment of Clinton that we defended against as Democrats. And she's now in the Senate, and she's leading the charge, and she's trying to get senators to come along to be for equality. That's how basic it is. In the streets, in the state legislature, on the Hill, we can't get people in positions of authority and power to say everybody's equal. And you may remember that DeSantis, the governor of Florida, passed legislation giving civil immunity to people who run over citizens at rallies and so forth like that, encouraging them to commit an offense, figuring at least they won't have to pay the piper afterwards in a civil suit. It's similar to the problem that we have with immunity for racist police officers. This is just not acceptable. People have to be exposed for the misconduct that they perpetrate, if you will, the perpetrators. Now, there's one side note on New York, and you know, I'm for Maya, and it's a very tough race, and I'm not up there. But one thing that I think we should take note of is how they're voting. When I was, I think I was in college at the time, there's a group called the Citizens Union, and I was fascinated by one of their projects, and they had their offices across from City Hall, Lower Manhattan. And I'd go down there and hang out in the shop because I think the name of the guy who had the idea, Hallett, he took a liking to me. And the idea was, why not rank candidates so that we increase the chance of getting an elected official who is supported by the most number of people if we're truly a democracy and this is a representative election. So, for instance, let's make it simple. There's 3 candidates. You vote for number 1, you vote for number 2, you vote for number 3. Then, if your number 1 doesn't make it, they look at your number 2 and your number 3. And in that way, the aggregate creates support that is popular for whomever comes out. It also eliminates runoff elections, which can be expensive. Now, it may be a little more complicated, and it's been done elsewhere with some success. So the New York is doing it with many more candidates. So it'll be fascinating to see how it works. It will be done with computers, you can trust that. But one of the reasons people resist it is because they like to cheat on the rules. For instance, they like to have a candidate with, say, the same name as an incumbent to split the vote among an uninformed electorate. So there are tricks that you can do that this ranking mechanism, it's called proportional representation, and there are a whole variety of names, but I think ranking is the best name to be understood. So I think you should think about asking your local officials to consider ranking voting in the next election, because if there's more than 2, it makes a lot of sense. And you don't get the ability to play with the vote, at least in the sense of reflecting the preferences of the voters. So that's what I got today. So it's I'm feeling muggy out, but it's a nice day otherwise. So I say goodbye to you in my cathedral of trees and repeat my endorsement that if we're supposed to love our neighbors or love ourselves, then we're failing that when it comes to Pride Month. And those of us who are related by friendship or family or in some other way that we've seen be outstanding citizens suffer because of their personal preferences. All the best. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.